Well, hey guys, this is Mark with It's All About Racing. And in today's video, I'm not going to review model cars or auto racing, which I typically do. I'm going to provide, I guess, my explanation for why I finally, after 8 years, upgraded from a fairly good Pinarello bike to a Canyon bike with disc brakes and electronic shifting. Now, to preface this, this Pinarello Roca is basically, it's an endurance bike. It's not a race bike like the Prince or the Dogma, but it shares a lot of similarities to it with the On the Fork and a good high quality carbon weave. It came with an Integra group set along with these Fulcrum wheels. And to be honest with you, it's been a great bike. I mean, the frame has been flawless. The wheels, probably the weakest element of the whole bike, have never needed to be trued, never had a problem. I've always used Vittoria tires, and it takes Vittoria 23s, and they've been phenomenal. Rarely flat. I mean, just really, really good, clincher tires, respectively. However, the Integra group set, after 20 years of racing them and doing triathlons, the latest group set that I got were very much disappointed. The hoods I had to have replaced due to crashes. That's on me. But all the brakes had to be replaced. The front derailleur I broke along with the chain. I broke it going up a hill. The rear derailleur had to be replaced. The crank arm delaminated. Now, some of this may be due to sweat, but I've never had a problem with that before. But anyhow, age shows on the bike. Shifting is somewhat difficult. It's, I replaced the original Integra crankset with this SRAM red crankset, and it's become very hard to find rings that work properly with it because it's somewhat of an aged, crank arm. And of course, these crank arms are ungodly expensive these days. So I basically have resigned this to a second bike and upgraded it. Now, I was hesitant to go with a bike like the Canyon, and obviously you can see I bought the Canyon, SLX that you see right here, largely because of the compact crankset. And I was afraid, that with the competitive guys that I ride with, I might have a hard time keeping up with them, pushing a 48, big ring as opposed to the 52 that I had on the Pinarello and the 56 I have on my TT bike that I sometimes bring out. But nevertheless, fuzzy math works. So I got this Canyon. And let me tell you, it's been a phenomenal bike. I've only had it a few weeks, but I can instantly tell you, and one of the reasons I bought it is it's an aero bike. And a bunch of my friends had bought it, and they have told me literally that they noticed a difference, from their old bikes to this. And one of the guys had a Giant Propel, not a bad bike. Now you can see my position on the endurance bike is it's not aggressive. Now, this is a full-on race bike, and as you can see, it's got a very aggressive setup on it. Don't mind it. I've raced before. It doesn't faze me in the least. I don't do 150-mile Fondos anymore. I go out and do 35, 40 miles, with my buddies. And, sometimes I do 2-a-days on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I call them the doubles, where I go in the morning and go in the evening as well. But anyhow, what made this bike different and why I got it? I got it basically because I needed to upgrade a bike. But if this bike had turned out to be as nice and as good as the Pinarello, I would have been thrilled. If it was noticeably better, I would have been absolutely ecstatic. And I can tell you that it is noticeably better. Now, bear in mind, I'm a fairly good cyclist. And, for me, performance is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's more fitness than bike. But I can tell you, this bike makes a difference. I am literally faster with it than I ever have been. Something I discovered recently that, quite frankly, I didn't use throughout my career was going up steep hills or even hills in the small chainring as opposed to the big chainring. I literally recently, over the past couple of years, discovered that, I can save a lot of strength doing that. And you have more left over, for the end of the ride, where virtually everybody else is pushing a big gear. Now, I had problems swifting from the big to the small ring on the Pinarello, largely because of the incompatibility of the crank arm and the rings that are fitted on it, which I couldn't replace. So anyhow, electronic shifting. Shifting from the large to the small ring is flawless. And shifting in general is quiet, immediate. You can even push the button on the side of it and it'll shift up, you know, five tooths if you want. You know, it's amazing what you can do with it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is, and let me turn this bike around for you. Now, this is the Aeroad CF SLX. You can see it right there. And it comes with the SRAM Force Group Set. And this is only one of 2 color combinations you can get. It's the only one they had on stock, coincidentally. And I picked this up after discounts, $1,000 for $5,000. Normally it's $6, but they literally had $1,000 off on it. And I can tell you, everybody's been buying up whatever ones they could get, like they're going, like taking candy. But it comes, you know, with this Force Group Set, which I mentioned, you know, it virtually shifts flawlessly. It's phenomenal. And I'm going to let you take a look at it here. It has 2 batteries, one here on the front derailleur, a second one here on the rear, and they just literally, they snap off, and you can put them back in, and they work beautifully. As I'd mentioned, it does have this very, very small front chainring, and it also comes with a power meter. Of course, a powder meter, you can see right there, which is very, very cool. And I think a lot of people have criticized the black carbon finish with the silver highlights. I think it looks phenomenal. I just don't get it. I mean, I really, really like that. The brake hoods look great. Now, unlike Shimano, these things don't move. You touch them, that's all you need to do to shift it. They don't move. They're almost like a push button, and that took a little bit of getting used to. Anyhow, that being said, the aero frame is phenomenal. I swear to you, and nobody's paying me to say this, but I am faster on this bike than I was without it. Less effort to go faster. I don't know that I can particularly go faster, but I can do so with less effort. So therefore, I can go much longer with the same amount of effort used. I don't know mathematically how to figure it out or tell you. I don't know. The deep DT Swiss wheels are kind of unique. You've got a 62 rim in the back with a 28 tire attached to it. On the front, you have a 52 with a 25. Now, these originally came with Continental tires, which I hate. They're just a pain in the ass to change. They're good tires, but they're just a pain in the ass to change. And of course, these are tubeless compatible wheels. So it means they've got that double hook in there. So I had Vittoria Rubino Pros, which I put on there, which I absolutely love. They're not their best tire. You can get them like the $55 range, but they last forever. They rarely flat. They are really flat resistant. They're phenomenal tires. So I did change the Continentals out on that and put the Vittorias on. I did that on day one. Just took them right off. In fact, when you get the bike, they have Schwab light tubes inside, and I literally blew the tube up the first time I filled it up. Now, I did so at the shop with an air gun. But I immediately, put heavy-duty Continental tubes in there. I don't care about lightness; it doesn't make any difference. I don't want to have a flat while I'm out riding with the guys. But anyhow, so that explains that. The bottle cages I got on here, and I'll have to take you inside. I'll show you. They're called Oil Slick, and they change colors, and you can see a lot of purple that goes nicely with the purple that you have on the bike itself. This particular combination is called Hot Salsa. Like I said, it's only one of 2 options that you have if you want to buy this frame with this group set. You can get this frame with an Ultegra group set, and you can get a lower frame with 105 and whatever the rival group set. And then of course you can get the Pro Superbike with SRAM Red, Dura-Ace, Di2, or even Campagnolo Super Record. But this is not that bike. And like I say, it only costs $5,000. I have 2 friends that have the CFR frame, which is Canyon Factory Racing, and they paid just about $10,000 for theirs, and they get a slightly lighter frame. They get the same DT Swiss wheels, just with better hubs. And I, quite frankly, can put ceramic bearings in this and have an even playing field, as far as that. And of course, they get a better group set, lighter group set. But the Force group set is flawless. I am in love with it, guys. I really like this bike. Now, let me talk to you about one of the other problems you might experience when you buy this bike, if you should buy it. Oh, and by the way, the bottle cages, which are ungodly expensive, are called the Supercaz Fly Cage Oil Slick. And like I said, they're pricey. They're about 45 bucks, so basically $90 for the pair. But anyhow, this is the battery charger that you get. It comes with 2 SRAM batteries, a cord, and the charger itself. Why they don't have a dual charger, I don't know. I actually bought a dual charger. But I can tell you this, the SRAM batteries come basically completely uncharged. I had difficulty getting any charge in them at all. In fact, I contacted SRAM. I was determined that they were just dead. So Canyon basically refunded me, for the cost of it, and I bought another set, which I have. And then when SRAM reached out to me, which took about 4 days, they said, yeah, you have to put it in the charger, take it out 6 or 7 times, and do that repeatedly. And sure enough, it worked, and I've got working batteries. But I got to tell you, it's very frustrating. You've got a bike, you want to ride it the next day, and your batteries don't frickin' work. Thank God there's Amazon. I got batteries the next day, shipped overnight, had them the next day, charged them in no time. They were not SRAM batteries. They were generic batteries that were half the price of these. So I'm thrilled, very happy with that. Now, getting back to a couple things I forgot to mention. Whether you have a Garmin or a Wahoo Bolt, I have both. I use the Bolt on this one. I use the Garmin on my other bike. Canon has mounts that you can buy. Sometimes they're out of stock. You may have to buy one secondhand. This is their factory one for the Bolt. And it bolts basically right in the bottom of the bar that you can see right there, just 2 screws. And by the way, putting this thing together is really simple. It virtually comes pre-assembled. All you have to do is there are 4 screws. The handlebar comes in 3 pieces. There are 4 screws that you have to tighten up to do this, and it basically has 3 settings. I kept it at the most narrow setting, which was quite frankly the easiest. And then you have to put the seat post in and tighten that down. And folks, that's it. I mean, that is literally it. It's that simple. But anyhow, it's a gorgeous bike. It rides well. It comes with this Silly Italia saddle. I haven't quite warmed up to this yet. I'm putting up with it, but I may end up replacing that, as I did the Continental tires that came with it. Health-wise, I have kept it exactly as it is, and I can tell you guys, I will never ride the Pinarello unless it's raining again, because I like this bike so much better. And I think you will too. Whether you get a Canyon, whether you get another brand, it doesn't matter. Specialized, you name it, they all make great bikes. The big difference is it is an aero bike, which with the wheels, you get these deep dish wheels, and I can tell you, it may not be faster, but you can go faster with less effort, or go just as fast. However, and it's relatively light, and it's so much more functional than mechanical shifting, and the brakes are so much better. Have you ever gone down a mountain and braked so hard that you wore your pads out and you're touching metal? Well, I have, not with this. A buddy of mine even ruined his Envy wheels, his carbon wheels, ruined them going down, a mountain over a period of a week. They just warped them. So you don't have that problem with these disc brakes. They are phenomenal. You do have batteries. I mentioned the 2 batteries in the derailleurs. You also have batteries in your shifter, even though there are cables linking it to the brakes. But you do have batteries in there, and they say replace them about every year. You just pull the hood up a bit, and the battery's in there. Same kind of battery you have for the power meter, respectively. So it's pretty simple. Now, I have had this for about 2 weeks. These 2 batteries are still at full charge, and I have probably ridden, I know, maybe 10 rides over the past 2 weeks, maybe 12, but now quite a bit, still at full power, no issues whatsoever. I do have spare batteries, and I will carry one in my backpack that I keep in my pocket, just in case I ever need to change it out. There is an app that will tell that talks, well, basically it links up with your derailleurs, with your brake hoods, and it tells you what your battery strength is. You can even alter the way that you shift, and there another video that explains how to do that. But there's a lot of flexibility that you can do with this. It is absolutely phenomenal. So anyhow, guys, I went from a really nice Pinarello, roque frame to this Canyon Aeroad CF SLX, and I am absolutely thrilled. No matter what frame you get, if you do upgrade, promise me you will not regret it. Take care, folks, and we'll get back to reviewing model cars next. Bye-bye.